What's up? What's up? Dr. Mo here, digital nomad physician at digitalnomadphysician.com. So this is the round 3, trying to get this recording going. Hopefully it'll work this time. My name is Mohammed Ashori, MD. I'm a board certified family medicine physician. Welcome to my free Friday Q&A. Now, the point of these was to give access to those of you guys who obviously have some board investigation stuff, have some career-related questions. Man, I've heard everything now. And just have access to another physician who might understand you, who might have some of the experiences that you're hoping to obtain and achieve. And so that's what I'm here for. I think this is going to be my 5th free Friday Q&A where no one's joined. But I'll say that it's still important to me, and it's still a nice way for me to have a recording that you guys can listen to. Something was going crazy with the recording, so this is my 3rd time trying to click record. It's 4:04 p.m. here in Madrid, Spain, and it should be about 8 a.m. for you guys in Pacific time. So the reason I decided to start these is because back in the day, like I had urgentcarecareer.com. That was 2015 when I first started that website, and it was because I really loved urgent care medicine as something that I was hoping would keep me interested and excited about medicine for a long time to come. And I think it did. To this day, I find that I have a passion, a knack for medicine. Yeah, I won't say a knack, but I have a passion for medicine. I really enjoy it. It's something that gives me kind of that rush that I'm looking for. It challenges me. I learn something new. And more so over the past few years, I think I've learned about maybe alternative ways compared to like the traditional Western medicine, maybe more alternative ways of managing the same thing. Nothing crazy, like really about, a mild urinary tract infection. Does it really need, hardcore antibiotics? Could you try something like D-mannose? Could you try doing a fast? Could you try doing like a sitz bath or whatever and see if that will make a difference? So those are the things that I've gotten more interested in, especially from the urgent care side, where there's a lot of interventions. And from a Western medical perspective, you can certainly throw the kitchen sink at someone. And so I decided to create urgentcarecareer.com. In that, I started realizing that my finances were a mess. And so it turned a lot into like a financial blog as well, kind of talking about taxes, finances, investments, etc. And as I was evolving in medicine, I also realized that I just did not enjoy working at Kaiser Permanente 55 hours a week. And so I started talking about telemedicine and healthcare consulting. And so it evolved into Digital Nomad Physician. So now the website is called Digital Nomad Physician. I do everything myself. I do my own website. I've hired designers in the past. I've certainly hired back-end programmers to fix a few things or create some better workflows for myself. But oftentimes I've realized that excuse me, I just got back from Morocco, that air pollution did not do me any justice, and my sinuses in my throat are fucked. So, but Morocco was amazing. Morocco was an incredible experience for me and my girlfriend. I'll get into that in a minute. So I've done everything myself. The urgent care career website, I did myself. Moving it over to digitalnomadphysician.com, I did myself. Back in the day, I started with Bluehost, which was terrible to say the least. And then now I am at a hosting company called SiteGround, which is much better. It definitely serves it does everything that I needed to. And yeah, I make my own content, write my own content, create my own content, do all of this stuff myself. And I think when you're this small and you can stay this small, it's really powerful to be able to do it yourself. And later on, I think when you grow, it makes sense to bring someone in, but you can also very quickly become like really spread out thin by having to manage this person, and this person. So anyway, the people that are reaching out to me again, they reach out to me on WhatsApp, they reach out to me on email. They have questions about medical board investigations, losing their medical license, being sued, patient complaints, trying to move abroad, they recently found a new partner in another country and they want to go live there and they want to know how to do telemedicine from abroad. A lot more health coaching stuff that I think that's picking up. Telemedicine stuff. Yeah, anyways, things like that. And I've become very militant when it comes to my free time. And the reason for that is I'm I feel that I can get stretched very thin very quickly. What I mean by that is I have a lot of different interests. I mean, rock climbing, writing, reading a fuckload of books, listening to audiobooks, learning Spanish, exercise, yoga, cooking, walking, my own heart health coach stuff, my telemedicine brand, and this. So I have a lot of stuff. I'm pretty active on Quora, I'm pretty active on Reddit, and I'm pretty active on LinkedIn. And what I mean by active is I engage. I try to engage, and I try to have learn a lot on those platforms. And I'm taking the functional nutrition course. So I have a lot of things that I'm doing. For me to try to sit there and answer free questions for people, kind of like tire kickers and stuff like that, is not a good use of my time. It is not a good use of their time, because they probably need somebody who's really engaged, who's going to help them. And that's not going to be me. Only reason I'm going to be engaged and help them is if they're willing to pay me for my time. And so I've turned back a few things. For example, one of the things I did is I decided to stop my 6-month coaching program. Now, this was a great thing. I've done this for a long time now, but I've realized that it does take up a lot of my time. And probably if in the future I pick it back up, it's going to come up at a much higher price point, probably $15,000, $20,000, $30,000. And at that price point, I don't think there's going to be a lot of physicians who are going to be interested in it, which makes sense. That's why I stopped it. And instead, what I've done is my hourly rate, back in the day when I first started, my hourly rate was $150 for an hour. And then it moved up to $300 an hour and $500 an hour. And recently $600 an hour, and now I just put it up at $800 an hour. And this is, again, always, I'm raising my prices not based on my expertise or what I think I can bring for people, because there are physicians who are younger than me, with far more knowledge than me and much more eloquent than me. But the point is, if you can find those physicians, by all means, work with them. But if that person doesn't exist, I want to make myself available, and I want to profit from it. And I think it's a two-way profit. One is I profit financially from the time I spend, but the other thing is I learn from every single person that I work with. I take something away. And what I mean by that, I take something away. I learn something that I can then apply to the next client, to the next coaching client. And I think that's very, very powerful. And that's kind of medicine. That's what drew me to medicine. That's what kept me interested in medicine all these years, and still interested in, passionate about clinical medicine, not the practice of medicine. That's garbage. But when I see a patient with a medical condition and I intervene, and maybe I have an expected or unexpected outcome, I learn something from that. Now, I think it's a shame that the traditional healthcare system punishes a physician for making a mistake when you actually learn from those mistakes. And that's kind of the whole purpose of it. So I think that's been a really good change. I'm really happy about that. And I want to make these kind of venues available for people if they want to ask me questions for free. And pretty much what I've been doing these days is I have, because I have a WhatsApp business account, and I have obviously all my Gmail and stuff like that is a workspace or workplace or whatever it's called by Google. It's all business accounts. And so what I can do is I can do an automated message if they contact me. Hey, if you want information for free, please go to my website, podcast, or YouTube channel. If you want to work with me, here's the paid link. If you want free one-on-one sessions with me, free Friday Q&As. And it's great. I think it's a beautiful way for me to engage with people. Sorry for my throat. It's a beautiful way for me to engage with people, still meet a lot of people, and feel like connected, like what I'm doing. That said, I'm also recognizing a few things, like, this digital nomad thing, I've done it for a long time, and I think I'm going to continue doing it, because all I have to do, the only effort I have to really put in is every once in a while write a particular blog post or create a YouTube recording and maybe a podcast. Podcast, I haven't really done much, honestly. I think there's times when I do the podcast more. I just walk and I do a recording. Here in Madrid, it's so loud, it's impossible to do it outside of the house. And yeah, for whatever reason, I think me and my girlfriend spend more time together now, and so I don't have as much free time. I don't have as much alone time in the house to do some things. But I think she's now also going and doing some online courses. She's going for walks on her own. So I think she's getting more comfortable being in Madrid, which is nice, because it gives me some alone time to be here and record certain things. Probably the thing that I want to spend the most amount of time on, I'm recognizing, is my heart health coaching, my heart health brand. And I haven't created much content for it because I'm collecting content, which means I have my tablet. So I have a Chromebook laptop that folds into it's called like a 2-in-1 or all-in-one or whatever it's called. And I'm taking notes. So I listen to a lot of different really good podcasts and YouTube channels. And I take notes on the material that I learned from the experts, from the people who I really genuinely think have something to add. And I take notes on that. That's for me to build my entire heart health repertoire of information. And I think this is really powerful. I think it's really powerful because over the next 5 years, maybe 10 years, I should be able to become someone who's an expert, who is an absolute expert in preventative cardiology and heart health coaching, because I don't think heart health coaching is going to be as simple as like, which statin do you use, which PCSK9 inhibitor you recommend, or blood pressure medicine and atrial fibrillation medications. It's not enough, right? It's a lot of preventative stuff that we're going to have to do. I don't think there's going to be that one medicine that's going to be out there that's going to change the game in heart health. It might be. I don't see it. Not with hypertension and arrhythmia and congestive heart failure and stuff like that being there. Maybe with I could see statin therapy or some sort of a cholesterol management therapy becoming more interesting. So anyway, I think it's going to be a lot about prevention. It's going to be a lot about talking to people, helping them overcome their fears about heart health, about death, about morbidity, mortality. And every once in a while I go back on that. I'm like, I don't know if I really want to do that, But I have a feeling if I do that, and I do that at about a rate of $500 an hour, I definitely will have enough traction. I'm not worried about traction. I think there's always going to be a lot of traction for anybody who does any kind of heart health coaching, right? Especially with my pedigree, MD, UCLA, that sort of stuff. Shouldn't be difficult for me to find the right kind of people. The key question is it something I'm going to want to do? And I won't know that. I won't know that until I feel really fluid when it comes to ApoB, ApoA, and like your somebody's an hypoabsorber. They need this kind of statin, that kind of statin. That stuff is still really doesn't feel natural to me. But I've realized that I think in medicine, there's just got to be one thing that I focus on. There's got to be that one particular specialty topic that I'm interested in. And I've decided that it's not going to be diabetes. If you guys remember, maybe two or 3 years ago, ever since I've been doing the podcast and YouTube channels, I've been talking about diabetes prevention and diabetes management. But I think that's harder. That's becoming actually even harder and harder day by day, especially as there is more information with glucose and blood sugars and insulin resistance, and a lot of those things are sort of hijacked by for-profit companies. And so it makes it harder for me to gain any traction in that space. But I think heart health is always going to be interesting. So the way I'm envisioning is it's going to be a lot of the one-on-one coaching, but it's also going to be course material. So for example, the functional nutrition course that I'm taking right now is really, really invaluable to me. I don't care much about the content that's in there. It's quite honestly, I know a lot of it already, but it's a great resource. So these are people who have spent a long time understanding the patient journey from the beginning to the end, and what makes a successful client clinician relationship or patient professional customer relationship, and what makes for a bad one, and how you can fall into the empathy trap and you can fall into the science trap. And this is really cool. It's really cool how they're teaching you this stuff, because it's not intuitive to think about these things. You're like, oh, of course, it's my job. I'm the physician, I'm the clinician, I'm the one who's supposed to tell these guys what to do. But that's not the case. You need to empower them. The person who's seeing you is the one who should be doing all the work. And if they're not the one doing it, it's going to be difficult for them to feel involved, to feel like they have skin in the game. And so the second part of what I want to do is this course material stuff. And Andrea Nakayama has some really good courses that she's put on. Pretty impressed. I'm pretty impressed by it. Now, she certainly has a much more pleasant appearance. She has a much softer voice and a nicer voice to want to listen to. Mine is not that. But I don't see it being a big problem to hire somebody to do voice acting. I don't see that stuff being a limiting factor. I think the main thing for me is, when will I finally feel sort of engaged enough, excited enough to actually want to step in and do this, right? Because I haven't. I have not yet really sat down and just pumped out content. I think I'm getting close. I'm getting close to it, but I'm not going to force myself. I'm not going to force myself. As far as the money I'm making, consulting is still a big part of it. Doing the Just Answer stuff is still a big part of it. And when I go back to the US, I'm obviously going to do some shifts in an urgent care. I won't say obviously. I'm thinking I will. It's nice to be able to not lose your skills with your hands and the abscesses and drainage and Foley catheter manipulation and removing foreign bodies. I think that stuff is going to be nice and valuable to have, but it's not imperative. And I think I'll put a good amount of time into that. Other than that, honestly, that's it. That's really it. As I was telling you guys, I went to Morocco. That was really cool. I wouldn't suggest Morocco as a place for a digital nomad. I think it's a bit chaotic, and quite frankly, I feel the same about Madrid. Madrid's beautiful, but it is not the kind of place you come to recover. Madrid is gorgeous and amazing. There's so many things you can go to, but there's always that kind of liveliness. And sometimes, and I think me at age of 44, I'm really appreciating that, like, peace, tranquility. I was reading this book on what is it called? Hold on. This is a good book. You guys got to hear about this. So the app that I use for all my books that I get are from the library is the Libby app. It looks like this. Wait, can you see it? No, can't see shit. Wonderful. And the book is called Guided Imagery for Self-Healing by Dr. Martin Rossman, MD. Guided imagery. And it's so powerful because I was doing that today. I was like, okay, let me imagine doing a guided imagery session. And hold on. I saw myself in that back part of my apartment in Santiago de Compostela. The back part is a huge park behind my house. And I was like, on a rainy day, a foggy day, and I'm just walking through there. Like, I hear my footsteps, the rustling of the leaves and stuff. And I was like, that's my heaven, man. That's my heaven. That is absolutely my heaven. I also see being here, and I think that's super exciting to come here and walk around, talk to people. It's so easy to make friends here in Madrid. Both of them are great. But I think it's nice to know what you need at what stage in your life, right? At some stage in my life, I'm probably going to go back and like do a lot more telemedicine or do a lot more in-person care, etc. But for the time being, I think it's really nice to just, have that peace and tranquility. So Morocco was the opposite of that. Morocco was hardcore, crazy, wild. And I had some of the best coffee there. Yes. People were so nice, so unbelievably nice. It just reminded me, anyway, it was just really cool. But we went to Casablanca for a day and we stayed overnight. And then we went to Marrakesh, which was gorgeous. And we did some really good shopping. Oh my God, that bag is filled with stuff. Like, it's a huge, huge duffel bag that's filled with, like, I don't know, pillow covers, pillowcases, rugs, I don't know, a bunch of stuff. So that was kind of cool, though, to do that kind of shopping. So that's really all I got. Looks like nobody hopped on. That's basically the trajectory, the goal. And I find that what's really powerful as a physician in this career of medicine is to always realize you can always go back and work for Kaiser Permanente. You can always go back and work for UCLA. You can always go back and work for Dignity Health. That will never go away. You can always fall back on that. But sometimes there are moments in your life where you can do something really unique and interesting that's all about you. And I don't mean in a selfish you. I mean, it's like where you feel like you're doing something that is of value to you. And I think it's worthwhile to take that opportunity when that opportunity comes, because a few years from now, you may not find the same joy in that opportunity, or you may not be able to do it, or you might have other responsibilities. For me right now, being here and traveling and being a digital nomad is great. I 100% see it coming to an end, and like just being tired of it. Like, I don't want to be in another city or another state. I love the city. I love the state. I don't want to move. But inadvertently, I've done all the traveling that I think a lot of my friends have been like wanting to do all their lives, waiting until your days of retirement to do that. I look at the 65-year-olds that travel now, and I don't find it enjoyable. I look at myself just all fucked up from my surgery and ankle fucked up from this and back pain from that, and I'm like, I don't want to go travel through the tube in London, or like go through Marrakesh. I don't know. I can't imagine myself. I think at that age, I just want to kind of be chill and relax and do some, I don't know, exercises or whatever. But taking the opportunity to jump on these things right now is important. If travel is your thing, do it. See if it really is your thing, because a lot of people end up finding out that it's not it's not really what they're looking for. As far as work and income, I do feel always a little bit more comfortable if there is income coming in on a steady basis. But yeah, I think that can also build up to become something anxiety inducing. So just feeling comfortable with what you have, and knowing that when you're a consultant or when you have your own business, there's going to be times when there's a lot of income coming in, and there's going to be times where there's not much income coming in. And that's okay. I think if you can be comfortable with that, it can be really powerful. Case in point, my girlfriend has friends in Long Beach, in Los Angeles. And so I thought about it. I'm like, she's got family there, she's got friends there. I grew up in Southern California. And so I'm like, we're gonna be going back and forth there for the next 5 or 10 years, most likely. So I might as well buy something there. So as you guys know, I'm in the process of closing on this property in Long Beach, a small 500 square foot apartment in Long Beach. And, it was totally for me, it wasn't like, what do they call it when you make a sudden decision to buy something? Impulsive. It wasn't an impulsive purchase. I've been thinking about buying in Southern California for probably 3 years, but this opportunity came up. I jumped on it, contacted this realtor, and trying to close on it as quickly as possible. Now, kind of dealing with all this stuff. That's why I have to go to Morocco to go to the consulate to get a notary done and send the escrow documents back to the US and then transfer the money. So all of that is like kind of like tedious and boring and bothersome. But that's kind of the piece. And I think now when you start, as you get older as a physician, and you're using the money that you saved and you invested for ways to maybe create a more enjoyable lifestyle and have more opportunities, it becomes really interesting how the money that you initially saved by working really hard for is now becoming this awesome tool of giving you opportunities that you never thought you had. And I'm not saying that everybody should do what I did, which is like, put your head down, save as much money as possible, invest as much money as possible, spend as little as possible, save as much as possible, work as much as possible. I don't think that was sustainable in a lot of ways. I certainly don't think that's why I burnt out, but I don't think it was sustainable in a lot of ways. But it did make sense for me, and I think looking back, I don't have any major regrets, to be honest. But I also happened to cash out my investments at a very bottom part of the market. Still, I made money. But that's the nature of it. When you want to turn one piece of investment into another type of investment, from securities to real estate, from real estate to Bitcoin to gold coins or whatever, that sometimes the timing is not ideal. But I think it made sense for me. So we'll see how this turns out. We'll see how this real estate purchase will turn out in Long Beach. Looking at the Airbnbs there, I should be able to charge about $5,000 a month for this fucking tiny little apartment, because that's how much Airbnbs are right now. $5,000 a month. That's unbelievable for a 1-bedroom. It just blows my mind. So, well, yeah, if nothing else, if I'm not living there, guess what? I'm gonna Airbnb the shit out of that for sure. Or at least, like, what do they call it? When you rented furnished. So we'll see. Anyways, guys, that's all I got. If you have any questions, you can email me. By the way, for anybody who finds my content, please remember, if you're going to email me, probably I'm going to refer you to just some links. Otherwise, you got to work with me. Go to my website, digitalnomadphysician.com. Top right of the website, go to my consulting. And if you want to send me a message on WhatsApp, go to the bottom right of the main page at digitalnomadphysician.com, and you can send me a WhatsApp message. Otherwise, please join me on these free Friday Q&As. Whatever questions you got, I will answer it for you. Today, for the rest of the day, it's still beautiful out. Yesterday it was raining here in Madrid. I'm going to go to the rock climbing gym. My hand is improving ever so slowly, but still a lot of pain, and fortunately, my doctor is on text speed dial. I love this guy, Dr. Roger. You are the man. I just send him a message. He calls me. We have a conversation, telling him if I have any problems with my hand. What an experience. Something I never experienced in the US. So I'm going to go to the gym, and afterwards, probably just kind of chill. Excited for next week. I got Cirque du Soleil in Madrid coming up. Super excited for that. That's it, guys. Take care.